Huge Fed meeting this week, okay, coming out on Thursday, and we have to talk about last week's GBP debacle, all right? That is not tolerated. Let's roll the intro and get into it. Traders, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another Sunday market breakdown, all right? I know you guys still got your church shoes on, all right, but pull them off, relax, okay, and let's get into these charts because we have some pretty big fundamental data coming out this week, okay? And make sure you guys are liked and subscribed so you can get these things pretty quick. And we do have the high impact coming out tomorrow, and I might be triggered in something during that Monday overnight, well, that Sunday overnight, that Monday morning session. So I'll let you guys know if I'm exposed to anything in the next, 24 hours and whatnot. All right, so couple of things we need to discuss. We're going to be talking about the Fed and some of the interest rate ideals that are going to hopefully come to fruition on Thursday. We're going to be saving a chunk of that for tomorrow, so we're just going to glance over it a bit and talk about more of the structure than anything else. And we have to talk about GBP, okay? And so outside of that, folks, please make sure you like the video for your boy. All right, so first things first, let's roll the tape over the past 4 months on GBP's trade idea. Let's roll it. Let's roll the tape. Then let's look for some buy-side strength on that pound. We can ride that thing back up. Pound has been probably the most volatile pair all this year, right? So it could easily start ripping back to the upside. I still love pound for a buy. It seems like we're about to start having that break, and it looks as if we may be able to trek all the way back up into this structural. Okay, right now I'm looking at this pound, and pound is literally pushed around 40 points this morning. So I'm probably about to be triggered long in some of these things. So, not all trading, okay, in terms of you not being profitable, okay, not all profitability is reliant upon strategy, okay? There's a huge segment of profitability that relies merely upon you being there and being, aware of the trading opportunity that you have been looking for, okay, that you have built into your trading system, that you being there and ready to execute on that trading opportunity, all right? A lot of it has to deal with psychology, as you guys know, and how you're currently interpreting the market and not differentiating or not, deviating too far away from, the objective ideals that you have. Subjectivity plays its role, more often than not when you have those scenarios where you've re-entered into a position, you get stopped out, you enter into a position, you hit some kind of profit potential, but nothing anywhere close to where you want. And, just going over it again and over it again, you start to really say to yourself, okay, maybe this just really isn't the trade right now. That's actually not really what happened. Okay, Sunday night, before I got sick due to the food poisoning, we were looking at a couple of trade ideas for this GBP. We're looking at GBP JPY, here's a screenshot there, and here's a screenshot still of the profit target I had on the Euro GBP. Okay, and you guys know what I've been looking to do on this USD, on this GBP USD. All right, we've been trying to play this GBP long move for the past, 4 months. Okay, but we have rationalized that the GBP has been undervalued all of 2017. You can go back to the first few Monday breakdowns that I've created, and I'm going to be telling you, hey, GBP is one of the most undervalued pairs right now. Okay, Brexit is fully priced in. Okay, and at the end of the day, folks, remember the implications of Brexit. Some have come to fruition, but the ones that have come to fruition more than anything else is just investing confidence. All right, you see that a lot of the economic data that's been coming out with the GBP has been good. Okay, as we saw last week, you had a GDP figure come out about 3 weeks ago. You had CPI come out last week, and you have the monetary policy implications that came out last week, all showing signs that the pound is looking pretty good, comparable to its counterpart currency pairs in terms of having a higher appreciation in value. All right, so for us to miss the move that happened last week is very disheartening, and I'm saying us. I need to exclude some of my top traders out of this because a lot of those guys got in the move. For myself to have missed that trade is very, very disheartening because you got to understand, opportunities come and go. Okay, and so when you're setting up and you're looking out for this pound move and it's an everyday thing and you're really serious about this and this is something that actually makes you money and you actually make a living off of it, irregardless of me having food poisoning last week, I just still am, I'm a little frustrated over not executing on that position. Okay, so you guys know when I'm in on these moves, I would have screamed that I was in on the move. You guys know about 2.5 weeks ago, I got in on the move and got pulled out of the move. I've been in and out of GBP over the past 3 months, probably about 4 or 5 times. Out of those 5 times, I would say maybe 2 of them have been short term, but 3 of them have been looking for that long-term push outside of that structure. And long story short, guys, you want to put yourself in a situation where you're not missing out on highly probable trade ideas, actually executing, okay? I don't really take my sickness as an excuse. In the moment, probably, but hindsight, it's like, okay, I think I could have toughed it out because I'm looking right now, pound at 136. Me doing my thing in terms of just getting up, sitting down, even if I'm just, horribly sick. I don't care if I'm vomiting. That could have been, a $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 position. It could have been, right? You never know how you would manage your idea or the actual trade while you're in the move. But it's literally been the topic of most of the Monday market breakdowns. The past 5 Monday market breakdowns have had GBP buy in them. Okay, so again, guys, I just suggest that if you are looking at your trading as, I gotta find that right system, I gotta find that right strategy, I'm telling you guys, I think over 50, 60, 65% of trading all has to deal with you, all has to deal with what's your trading routine. Okay, don't deviate outside of that. What is your trading plan? What are your rules? All right, because a lot of times this stuff is as easy as, hey, when the level breaks, we take the move. All right, and that's just it. When you try to have some type of scientific method for every single trade idea, and every single trade idea is different, then you're honestly doing things too hard. It really gets to the point to where, hey, you sit in your chair, you look for that specific pattern, you look for that pattern on that pair, or on those different pairs that you like to play, and when it's not there, it's not there. When you execute on the position and it stops you out, that happens. That's life, So outside of anything else, guys, look, a lot of it is about the routine. A lot of it is about time management. A lot of it is about the game plan. Put yourselves in a situation where you are scrutinizing your routine, your trading plan, your risk management. You're scrutinizing the actual physical parts of the business, just as heavily, if not more heavily than, the methodology. Trying to figure out what strategy you're going to trade. Trying to figure out what currency pairs you're going to trade. Look, folks, once you rationalize this entire business model, you'll realize its success is mostly reliant upon you. There is no secret code to this whatsoever. A lot of times, these trade ideas are just as simple as waiting for them, not getting too antsy, letting the level rip, and then executing on that rip. Discrepancies as to, is this my trade? That's not the trade, okay? It's just as simple as, hey, this is the type of trade idea I have. This is the pattern I want. These are the type of market conditions I'm looking for. This is the average amount, this is the risk reward I'm looking for, and the probability of that market ripping in my direction should be around this, depending on these different catalysts here or there. Look, it's this very simple system. Everything outside of that, 90% of all the market movement outside of that isn't to figure out. You worry about it and you specialize on what you want, all right? And then you just leave everything to the wind. And then guess what? When you really maximize this, then you can add another arsenal or another trade, strategy to your arsenal. So then that way, you have more opportunities, giving you more chances to make money. But you got to start here first, because if you have, your business ran all over the place, okay, in terms of how you're going to be conceptualizing a trend trading model, or how you're going to be conceptualizing a consolidated trading model, and you want to make sure that you're day trading just in case the market does this, and you want to also swing. There's too much there. Okay, specialize. Okay, be fixated on one pattern, on one market type, and then execute in that capacity. And then you really just kind of wait on these things and then let them do what they do. And if they don't work out, they don't work out. And if they do, then boom, keep moving forward. All right. So guys, what we're going to do is we are going to save a decent amount of the fundamental data and the fundamental talks for tomorrow's high impact, but we can go into it a little bit while we're in the charts. I'm going to show you guys some of the fundamental data that we're going to be looking for this week in terms of the numbers, but we'll actually talk about it in context tomorrow, okay? So let's pull over into the charts. Let's see what we're going to get this week. Make sure you have your routine down and you have your game plan down. That is going to be the thing that it allows you to profit more than anything else, okay? That routine. All right, guys, let's pull over into the charts and see what we got. All right, traders, what's going on, guys? Let's pull over into these charts. So first, I want to talk to you guys about what's coming up this Thursday with the US dollar. So we're looking to see a rate statement
from the Fed. It is extremely unlikely that we're going to raise rates in September. Most of the market is looking for us to see if there's going to be a potential rate raise in December. Now, a metric that I thought was pretty interesting was the consumer price index. Now, you guys know we had a we had a high impact video segment that talked about the consumer price index. And remember what I was mentioning, folks. I was like, guys, look, if we get that 243 print again, then we could see a lot of escape of capital coming from that U.S. dollar. But we actually ended up hitting off on a all-time high there in terms of our CPI, which again now begs the question: all right, are there going to be talks of hey, look, guys, CPI is increasing. There's more spending happening, at least within this month here. Let's see if this continues next month. So September, October, and if they see something happening in October, then we may be potentially increasing the certainty that we may be raising rates. So as you guys know right now, we have a couple of overextended market structures. The pound, I'm not saying the pound's overextended, in the long term, but in the short term, very, very over-exacerbated move. Maybe we can get some relief back in that over the next 2 weeks. The Euro U, interesting to see the Euro U. We're going to pull over into that as well, and we can have that conversation. So right now, let's see where we are rate-wise. So here, guys, we got our Fed fund rate. So currently, as you guys can see, we have raised 3 times in the past year, okay? We raised once in December 2016. We raised it again in March, and we've raised again in June, all right? So right now on the table, we have one more rate hike in question. I think this is a potential play that we can have by the end of the year. I'm not saying buy or sell, but the reason why I'm not saying buy or sell is because I don't think the market has really priced it in yet. We're really just trying to see what the data looks like. So what's going to be happening on Thursday? Let's see if the implications that CPI, let's see what implication CPI has on what the Fed wants to do and the Fed's comments later this week. And guys, those implications, all right, if you want to make a decision on that, you might be able to profit off of their proclamations on what they want to see. So if we pull over, let's check out this Euro US dollar. Here we are on this Euro U. Let's pull over into a weekly real quick just to show you where we are structurally. So as you guys can see here on our weekly, let's pull over to a monthly and see where we're at. Let's pull up the fib. We have had a pretty decent slowdown in terms of market move. You guys know where we've been for the past month. We've been meandering right above that 38.2, and currently right now we're sitting, in between that 38.2 and that 50%, and that 50% retracement. All right. So if we pull over into the weekly, checking this out, if you guys see what we have here, you definitely do have a slowdown of market structure. All right. Before we were going fairly parabolic with no real sizable sell-off. But as you guys can see now, we've had some pretty decent weeks where markets have had somewhat of a tumultuous time breaking past, this high here at $1.20. All right, we've hit $1.20 way back when on, let's see, that's in August. We hit $1.20 again that next week. We hit $1.20. So every week we've been ranging around and being up in that level, but we have yet to be able to hold and consolidate and hold that $1.20 level. So that's going to be really interesting, especially with a good CPI that we just brought out. Let's see what's going to happen in terms of this Fed release on Thursday. All right, I think it's going to be very interesting. Now, looking at it structurally, we can have a couple of different places where we can draw this fib. I want to draw here, and I do want to draw here. So drawing the fib from here, this has been one of my favorite places to start drawing it. As you guys can see, where are we holding? All right, this market is still very tight. We're still up here in this 23.6% retracement. All right, now previously, if we were to go back a bit, this low was the 23.6, but as you guys can see, we've broken out of that high there. We've came up maybe around an extra 150 pips, almost 180 pips, and we've been ranging around within that zone here. Now, what's going to happen? Is that repricing, okay, is that U.S. strength going to come to fruition, and will we start heading back down, starting to break these lows here? A very, very interesting snapshot. Okay, so if we want to look at the extensions and the retracements, as you guys can see, extended, we've pulled back, we've extended one more time. Depends on what you want to coin this as. We had a fail. Okay, we had markets fail again, and as you guys can see, what is that structure? We need markets to break this structure here. If we can break this structure here, I think we'll have an onset of selling of this Euro U, at least during the intra week. And if we get some of the Fed comments on Thursday to start giving us some ideas to start shorting this market, then that's exactly what we're going to do, folks. I mean, we will be in on that short opportunity there. Okay. Now, playing the long side, it's interesting to know, right? If you want to play long, what do you want to do? You want to take the breakout at 120, 120.50 potentially. Do you want to start executing on the long right now and say to yourself, hey, look, I want to be in at 1950. That's a really feasible price point, and I think that U.S. weakness is going to continue. Maybe you're checking out the DAX, the dollar index, and you think we can keep heading lower. Currently, what I'm looking at on this dollar index is if we can hold this structure here and see some intra-week volatility back to the upside, then we'll definitely have that same strength coming in on that U.S. dollar. Well, we'll see that in that Euro U, and we'll see that market turn over a bit over here. Okay, so I'm going to keep you guys posted in the top trader community as to what we're going to do. I am favoring the sell side more than the buy side, but the buy side is still feasible depending on what kind of implications come to fruition this week. Okay, but let's see if we can short this market. All right, let's see if we can short this market outside of this level here. Maybe we'll have an earlier entry. Before we get the break here at 1860. I would rather not, that's a little bit far away. Maybe we can get a little bit of a market push higher and then markets turn over a bit. But if we have to take the break, then we have to take the break, okay? But I'm favoring the short side. Now, pulling over to this Aussie dollar, let's take a look at Aussie dollar. Now, we haven't paid much attention to the Aussie dollar, and it's interesting. Every time we don't pay much attention to the pair, nothing really happens. So every time I'm like, hey, I don't really like this pair. It's ugly, blah, blah, blah. Then again, you usually see that those are very non-volatile moves. Guys, you got to be playing in market conditions that are conducive to your strategy. And right now, Aussie has been a very, very just consolidated play. Okay. Now, what we had drawn up in the top trader community, I still have it here. We had a channel, nice, decent little channel that this Aussie had over the past couple of weeks. And as you guys can see, we did break that channel there. So we were looking for a break of this level here at the dollar, just the 80 flat, okay, 80 cents flat. And we thought that, hey, if markets can't hold, all right, we were here basically at the retest. If markets can't hold this 80-cent flat number, then I'd love to take this thing back down to the previous low, which is a 200 pip move. Okay, now we might, exhale and inhale down to that level. Okay, we might, have some corrections and some contractions back down to that level, but it does seem like a very feasible level to take markets down into. All right, so pulling over to the weekly, just so you guys can see it. Again, lots of available price structure down here. As you guys can see, I don't think these levels would hold very well, not until we get past that 78.70 to that 78 flat number. Okay. So let's see if, again, U.S. weakness. A U.S. strength play. Okay, a U.S. strength play. I'm preluding some U.S. strength this week. And if we're on the money with that idea, then we're going to be able to execute. Now, look, again, same situation. If U.S. weakness comes to fruition, we might have a contingency plan. Will it be as profitable? It won't. It won't be as profitable of a play unless it was something dramatic. Because the U.S. weakness setups right now look pretty good. Here's another, U.S. strength setups right now look pretty good. Here's another example, guys. GBP. I know GBP is doing its thing. Now there's an underlying sentiment with this monstrous rip that you want to be careful with. But again, if everything is priced in, or if markets are slowing down a bit and GBP is just waiting for the next fundamental data release, U.S. weakness, U.S. strength again. If I say that one more time, I'm freaking kick myself. Will definitely allow for this market to start shorting back down in. So I was actually looking at a very, very early time frame earlier. I was looking at this 30-minute, and I was like, here's a nice low that could be broken there. This is what this looks like on the 4-hour. Okay, as you guys can see, it's a very, very parabolic move. Let's remove the draw set there, and this is what we're looking like. So let's see if markets can maintain 135.60. If they can't, then I think we could actually run back down into the 134s, the 134 highs. Okay, 134 flats to 134 highs. Okay, so that's something that I am looking for. GBP, I'm a little less hesitant to play just because of all the volatility that's come about. But again, another U.S. strength play. Now, hey, do I want to buy the GBP up? Guys, opportunities come and go. Like we mentioned earlier on, folks. Let's just see what we get. Maybe there's a potential to rip the high. Maybe you can catch some intraday run. Okay, but it's nothing that we can really swing out. Intraday run, absolutely, there's something there for it. If you guys just want to get in and out of that thing, maybe cop around 20, 30 points and then just, call it a day for this particular pair. Looking at this USD CAD, USD CAD actually has not broken that low here after the enormous release that came out, their interest rate release. Okay, so let's see what we get. I would like to see markets, as you guys can see, we are forming a nice top. Another scenario where we get some US strength, we have a pretty decent move. Okay, so since US weakness has just polluted this market, so many times this week, and last week and the week before that, everything may look pretty decent for US strength, right? Everything looks amazing, but I am merely talking about even the intra-week market structure over the past 10 trading days looks fairly conducive to a US strength play. All right. So again, maybe we get a crack right here of this 23.6 back up into structure. Looks like that 50% level could be something that is very feasible there. Now, NZD USD was a scenario that I did not play. I did have some top traders make some money on it. But this was another scenario where, again, I'm kicking myself because it played out pretty well. All right. So outside of all the enormous volatility that we saw, in this NZD USD last week, we do have markets that are pinging off right here at this 38.2. And we were looking to buy it up, as you guys probably know, right above this 23.6% retracement. So markets pinged up, started really consolidating heavily within the move here. And as you guys can see, we've ran once again. So another scenario, maybe we can get a continuation. I wouldn't mind a late entry on this here with this NZD USD. This is more or less a NZD USD. This is more or less of a weak play, a US weakness play. Maybe if we get that US weakness, we have a very nice ceiling that we can pop above, and it'd be a really fruitful trade up into the 61.8, and again, maybe even further. It looks like this thing could probably run into the 78.6. All right, so we'll have those as our targets. I'll update you guys in the top trader community. Now, this USD JPY is something that is very interesting because of all the things happening all the things happening inside of North Korea. All right. Now, as you guys know, when North Korea does its thing in terms of talking about the exploding and nuclear bombs and all that type of stuff, usually you will see strength come in to the JPY, which is very interesting. But it's just the way the market has worked. Okay. So right now we do see a gap up, but all these runs of the market here to the sell side, okay, this sell side position here and this sell side position here, both of those were implications that North Korea were going to be firing certain missiles, okay? And you saw a resurgence of capital come out of that move once certain things got patched over. And as you guys know, last week again, there was another missile that got flown over, I think this weekend. All right, so markets are having I think they're going to actually have a pretty hard time really trying to play North Korea, especially if this back and forth keeps happening. That's something that we just want to keep an eye on. Now, again, this may be another scenario where if we have that U.S. strength, maybe we can finally get out of this USD JPY consolidation right here at 110.70s, 110 highs. Okay, maybe this market can start running and start trading back up into the 112s, the 113s. All right, if I show you guys what this looks like on the weekly, is what we're seeing. Let me pull over into the monthly. May look a little bit better. There we go. That looks pretty good. So again, here's another scenario. Let's draw from the low to the high. We're actually using our Fibonacci's as pullback metrics, which is funny. We never do that. So again, pullback. We came down to the 50% retracement here. And where are these markets at? Okay, if we can get a pop right here at 111.08, okay, 111 flats, then it does look pretty good for us to run up into the $13s, okay, which is that previous 23.6% retracement. All right, so it's a good looking move, and again, this is preluded, and this would be preluded with U.S. strength. All right, if we get the U.S. weakness, we have those pairs. Covered. The U.S. strength play on this side would be something that is very, very nice. All right. Now let me go back over into the daily real quick for this JPY. And if we do get some U.S. weakness in, you might be able to take this structure back down into the 08 mids. Okay, so what you would want to see though is this would have to be your high here. You would really want to see markets consolidate. I still don't like this as a sell because I think by the time markets get to 100 pips to your entry, I think you're in a little bit late on the sell. So you'd have to go down to a 4-hour to find a decent buy side opportunity on this thing. And it just seems as if you would really be looking for markets to start. I would want to see markets start kind of playing around here at the 110.80s, 110.70s. If I get a break of 110.70, then boom, that would be pretty nice to see markets fill this void and head back into the southern direction here. And again, that's if that U.S. weakness does come to fruition. So again, guys, most of our trades look good if we get this U.S. strength this week. I'm going to keep you guys updated in the top trader community. I really like the market structure this week. I'm not feeling sick. All right, so hopefully we can, be here every day, set the pendings, and then do what we got to do to make this money. All right, so guys, your profit is always my motive. If you guys have any questions, let me know. Still getting back into the groove of it. All right, so bear with me. But other than that, guys, I'm here for you. Let me know if you need anything, and I got you. Okay, I'll talk to you guys real soon. Peace.